Happy One Wheel Wednesday, everybody. My name is Scott Mendenhall. We got a great one. This is in the United States of America. It is Super Bowl week, and I'm wearing a jersey that I bought my sophomore year in high school. And it was because it's not about the team it represents. However, that's who I'm pulling for in the Super Bowl. It's about the name on the back. I don't know. Can they see it?
Bernie Sanders?
Deion Sanders, get out of here. That's Lily, who is just taking...
Gotcha.
Coming at me. So if you're watching live with us, let us know in the chat who you are going for in the Super Bowl. It is Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers. I'm all for the 49ers this year. Again, I've had the jersey. This is vintage. It's Wilson is the brand because that year of the Super Bowl, Wilson made the jerseys. So it's been hanging up in my closet for years. And this year I thought I'd bust it out. Because the last time 49ers were in, my wife, Holly, over here joining me. I wasn't rooting for the 49ers, but this year I'd like to see the 49ers win. I like Brock Purdy. I like how the 49ers have just put together a good team. However, I wouldn't be too sad about it if the new GOAT of football pulls it off as well. But because a lot of the employees, Jack Mudd and Joey out there in Onewheel headquarters are 49ers fan, I thought I would support as well.
That's why you're going for them.
Support them.
Why are you going for them?
I just kind of started liking the Niners a little while ago, and so I like Brock Purdy. But I liked the Niners when Jimmy G was with them. So
Jimmy G, that guy. Hey, if you're just joining us, we're gonna get to Lily's opinion here in a second. But can or should you race a Floatwheel or Vesc in 2024 ORL? That's the conversation, and we're bringing in a pretty respected voice
for sure
in the community. We're gonna have Nick Payne in here, who is the creator and race official of one of the best races on the planet, Dirt Surfers, which is going to have two versions of Dirt Surfers here. We're going to break all that down here in a few moments. So he's going to be in here to really discuss from a race official's thoughts and ideas inside it. I know that from the beginning, I don't know if Austin will be with us here today, but Austin's in the chat, so he'll have some opinions. Austin and Mercedes will be live with us next week to talk about their race season and talk about what they have been up to as they're part of the factory team and all the great things that they're doing. And so we're excited about today with Nick. We actually just came off riding with Nick and Rachel Payne for an extended period of time down in Arkansas. We went to Bentonville. Oh man, it was so much fun. We got pictures from this. It was a bucket list location to go ride. Here's some of the just great pictures that this is part of the group ride we had. It's Nick and Rachel, I believe, are in the front to the left. They're leading the pack. There's some skinnies that are you're in the middle of a city. Go watch my review. We just dropped it yesterday. It was so much fun. You have berms that are concrete that glows in the dark. It was so much fun. And like I said, a bucket list. Anybody that riding one wheels, you need to go there. I can't thank Nick and Rachel enough for giving us the opportunity to ride there. Oh man, we're going back. We need to get an Airbnb right in the middle of the city and just spend several amount of days just mobbing it because there's so much goodness. Like if you like dirt, it's there. If you want paved trails, you got that. If you're a city sidewalk kind of rider, you got that. If you want features, wood, made out of metal or rock, you got it all. And you can just pop out in moments and be back up to an Uber ride. And so we're excited about going back. What a fun ride. If you want to go check out that video, dropped yesterday. Here is the thumbnail you're going to be looking for on this YouTube channel. You can go check it out right after this live stream about float wheels and all those. Bentonville, sorry. Good or bad for one wheels? I think you already caught on what I'm saying.
You might have just given it away.
But anybody
but still, it's cool to watch because you get to see some of the features and things.
And
like
they call it the mountain bike headquarters of the world. Can it be for one wheels? It would be sweet. I was thinking about this. It'd be sweet to hold some kind of race event through there. I don't know if you can shut some trails down, but that'd be pretty cool to go and mob there. But thanks for everybody joining us today on this live chat. Again, should you race a Floatwheel or Vesc in 2024 ORL? I'm sure there is. Now, obviously, it's a one-wheel event. One wheel. Future Motion, who created the one wheel, they have one wheels. The GTS is the flagship. It is the beast. Going down and riding in Passion Play area where Dirt Surfers Eureka Springs is held. Went there and rode the GTS for the first time down there, and my mind was blown all over again. It was so enjoyable. It was just, I got nothing but love to say. The 7-inch tire, oh wow, it was awesome. Now, I had the Pioneer tire from Float Life on there, and that was awesome. Oh my goodness! I again fell in love with that tire again. My kids had the GT Performance tire. I just think for a lot of people are on the fence about a 7-inch or 6.9-inch tire width. Boy, was it was a lot of fun. You know what I saw go away in the trails with that wide of a tire was the toe side, heel side wobbling of the board going around. You just rolled over so many things. It was a lot more stable. Now, I wish I could have, and I'm not a creator of this stuff, I wish I could have a 7-inch wide tire on a 5-inch hub. That would be tremendous, folks. Okay, so can or should you race a Floatwheel or Vesc in 2024 ORL? We have opinions on it, but we thought, like I said, we'd bring in a professional. Nick Payne has been around a one-wheel world for a long time. He is a race official in Dirt Surfers. He's the creator of the event. He once was pro and then turned his attention to creating amazing events for us in the community. And so we're going to talk to him today, how he breaks down the categories of racing from Groms to Vesc to Floatwheel to Onewheel GTS, Onewheel GT. How's he going to do it? Why is he thinking the way he is? Because here on this channel, we've had a lot of conversation. Everybody wants it to be Wild Wild West. No rules, let everybody free for all. No way. So let's get somebody in here that knows what they're talking about. Let me introduce to you Nick Payne, everybody. How we doing, Nick?
Hey.
Yo, what's up, Scott? What's up, Mendenhall crew?
Hey.
I like how Nick always starts, and he has from almost day one in our interviews with him. He always has his sunglasses on just to say, "Scott, I see you."
I just have to be like you for a minute.
For a minute.
I'm back
I
here.
love that it's just for a minute, though.
Nick, thank you so much for taking.
Real quick, I don't think I've ever really been a pro one-wheeler.
What?
Just so you know, I have not been a pro. I don't think ever.
Ever?
Okay.
Come on.
I raced, but there wasn't really when we were first starting off. There wasn't really pros, and there wasn't really. It was just everybody's racing one wheels.
Let me.
I don't think I would consider. I don't think I've ever been on that level. Those guys are nuts. I'm not on that level. I'm the older guy. I'm down here. I could have been crazy. I was crazy when I was younger. I was crazier.
No. I get what you're saying. You sound like a pro athlete that has matured into creating races. It's like any pro athlete you see in football. They talk about the current demographic of football players. Oh yeah, I could never hang with. But back in my day, I would say, I'm giving it to you. It's kind. You're super humble, and that's why we like you. But we're labeling you a former pro because at the beginning, if you were a top tier racer, it was a Wild Wild West, and you could claim yourself pro. So we're giving it to you. We're magic wanding you.
Okay.
Thank you for being humble. Thank you for being humble, my friend. And thank you again. I said it in the video that we dropped yesterday. Thank you for being our tour guide through Bentonville. Oh my goodness, that was.
Oh man, that was fun.
It was a good day. That was one for the memory books for sure. One that you just need more time there. That's what I learned.
You do. It was super fun for us. We've been there a lot, and it's fun with the kids, and it was fun with you, Scott, as well. You're just like a big kid, but just seeing everybody's face, just I could tell that they were super excited, and they were like, "Oh, I've seen this." Yeah. I've seen this on so-and-so's video, or I've seen this on this video, and oh, I want to see this. And so we couldn't see it all, but there's more there. So
yeah, which
y'all
at the
can
end
come
of
back.
The end of the day, I don't know how many miles of trails are there, but at the end of the day, we did almost 30 miles on our boards that day, which is a lot of riding, especially when you think about having to charge and all those things. 30 miles, I was like, how many more miles of trails are there in there? Because you could just see trails everywhere, like, oh, are we going to ride that today? And we never did. It never repeated a trail. That was some of the fun bit of it, the day. So
it's a constant build there. It's never ending build. They build trails all day, every day, and there's always a new trail. When we go back, we live 4.5, 5 hours away from there, and we'll go back, and you know, sometimes we go back, there's a brand new trail. It's like, and then they're fixing other trails, redoing them. So I mean, you're constantly getting something new, something different. Such a fun place.
And it was, and I can't wait. Like for me, it'll take me forever to catch on if that was a new trail or not. It'll all just be to me. I haven't rode that one yet.
Just keep being new.
Somebody in the chat, Craig James is saying, Nick is a pro bro.
Craig's my brother from another mother for sure.
That's awesome. But that's a fair way to put it. You're a pro bro. You, yeah. When we rolled up to you at where you guys were camping out in Bentonville, I mean, you just had everybody around you. Like people from Oklahoma, Missouri, they're all just hanging around going, I get a chance to hang out with Nick. Like you are one of those people everybody wants to be around. So you and Rachel, and so we're always honored to be able to be in your presence. So thank you for being on the show today. We have a lot to unpack. A lot.
All right, so let's go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Before we do that, we're going to roll through, and you will know a little bit more races than we do. We're going to roll through up to this point the races we know of in 2024. So if you're wanting what races should I get to, some of them ORL ranked, and some are just good festivals, good vibes, okay? So we have some thumbnails for these. Meaning, I shouldn't say thumbnails, we have images for some, and then we had to be creative because some of these events haven't actually posted a picture for us to use for a logo. But first, I believe it's next weekend is Fun Weekend 4, which is pretty cool. That's a great event if we can go full screen. That is February 15th through the 18th. This is done by Kyle Hansen. They're just always out fun down there.
Oh, the wheel fun stuff? Chris?
Yeah, you can see what's there. I mean, they're going to be fun to be at. I know that the Onewheel Factory team's going to be showing up there next week to be at it. Don't know if they're racing or if they're just signing babies' foreheads. Not sure. But they're going to be there, which is going to be pretty cool to be able to see. Maybe it's the first debut of them racing at that event. Nick, that's more of a closed pump track style race, right?
Yeah, it's a side-by-side pump track, BMX track, I believe. Yep.
Which is pretty fun to watch. It's one of those races that, as a viewer, it's fun to see because you can see the whole race from a drone shot or from footage. It's really easy and fun to track. So if you can get out there and race, but then watch all the footage that will drop from there. That is not an ORL sanctioned or ranked event. That's just a fun event that seems to kick off the racing event. I think, and I didn't see it on their flyer, but I think previous years they've showed up into roller rinks, right?
Yeah, there was a roller rink.
I think that's part of the event. I think it's after that. I think that's part of the event where they kind of have a party and everything at the roller rink on their one wheels. So,
which is genius, so much fun. So then we're going to take a jump, Nick, over across the pond, because if I don't mention the European One-Wheel Racing League, people will go, it's not just in America. So to be fair, we have European One-Wheel League. You can follow on Instagram. They have heaps of races. We're going to put them on the screen as a list of them, okay? One, here is their Instagram handle. Go give them a follow. And then here are all their events that you can just see.
Read the Shires. Wow. I love that. Shires.
Yeah, I think that one's in Scotland. Obviously, the Swiss race is in Switzerland. So there's all over the place. Germany's got some. So you can jump into those locations
That's wild.
In Europe and race your one wheel. Now, I don't know facts about ORL, if they can come over this year like last year. I don't know any of those facts. But for those that are over the pond area, there you go.
That's awesome. That
is your racing league. And I'm sure we'll get footage from those. Last year, Nick, we got in a wee bit of trouble with people from Europe going, hey, you forgot to talk about us. And again, it's very hard to get 8 children to Arkansas. It would be very hard to get 8 children across the ocean with one wheels. And so, but now we'll come back to the United States. I think this is the first ORL event of the season is Let It Ride. Am I right on that, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Let It Ride is the first event. Here is their logo. Their date is March 14th through the 17th. It is in Las Vegas, Nevada. That is where the Super Bowl is this weekend. And so you can start off scoring points for your ORL bidding for the final race in the fall. Then you have Oak City Shred Fest, which is... If we can put that one up there, Epic Scott. Oak City Shred Fest is May 2nd through the 5th of 2024. This is
You skipped over Dirt Surfers in Austin.
Oh, I did.
It's in
I
April.
have it. I have it in here. I just didn't have it in order. But yeah, for Nick, keeping us in the chronological order, let's go to the Lemonade Float Co. No, you're good. Here we go. Lemonade Float Fest 2 with Dirt Surfers.
What?
Now, we're going to come back to this, Nick, because we got a lot to be asking about this. But this is April. What are the dates of this? April 15th as well?
April 11th through the 14th.
There you go. That's the dates of that. That is a festival with Dirt Surfers Race. Nick, the creator of Dirt Surfers Eureka Springs, is bringing his talent as well to Texas. So it's an as well. It's not this one over here in Eureka Springs is over. He's doing both. He's growing the brand.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the quick way to say it. Then we go from, well, we'll let Nick do it because he's got chronological order. Let's stay in order. What would you call the next one, Nick?
Next one is Oak City, May the 2nd through the 5th.
Okay, which we
Raleigh,
showed you.
North Carolina.
Then we go from there to Dirt Surfers Eureka Springs. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. May 17th through the 19th. Dirt Surfers 2024.
You can already go and sign up for, right?
Registration just opened.
Yeah, get signed up. Yes.
Get signed up. Dirtsurfers.com, is it?
Yes, dirtsurfers.com, and it'll take you, there's a link to Bike Reg on our site.
Okay. So if you're catching it, you can race 2 Dirt Surfers events, both unique. Let me ask this before we move on, Nick. If I was to race both, do I get some cool medal, knob, a nod, a high five or something for doing both?
I've been thinking about that a little bit. I don't know if I kind of would like to do it when there's 3 Dirt Surfers. Maybe have a small series of Dirt Surfers.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. We could have something like that in the future. I'm not sure if we're ready for it yet, but maybe.
With a little bit of time,
switch it up.
Maybe you start this year if you podium in 2. Not racing like great usually showed up, but what if you podiumed at both? Now that could be maybe you want to give a little bit of love to those that can podium at both. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. Not a medal or something. Maybe it's just
free tickets to Dirt Surfers next year. Something like that.
Wow, yeah, that was kind. I was thinking more of like that one
like
wheel.
a T-shirt.
I was just thinking about like that one wheel that's over your shoulder. Just
oh man,
just something
I don't know
like
if I'm giving that up.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay, so we go from Eureka Springs Dirt Surfers to, is it Seek and Shred 4 is the next one?
Yes, Shred Fest 4. Yep, Seek and Shred, and June 13th through the 17th in Wilseyville, California.
Okay, and we have, so there's Shred Fest 4.
Super fun race.
I don't believe it's open yet to register. I think it's coming soon, as you can already see.
No, they're open. They're open.
They are.
They're open as well. Yes, I believe. Yes, they're open, and Will Scorcher is open as well already.
Well, I grabbed the image you're seeing, Nick, on your screen, and it says Shreds Fest 4 tickets coming February 24. That's their website currently, because the website must be under maintenance or being rebuilt.
Maybe they're working on getting it.
Yeah. So that picture was taken from the website just moments ago. Then you do have Wheel Scorchers, which is that didn't happen last year. It's happening again this year, though, right?
That is in Henderson, North Carolina. It did not happen last year, but it was at Fire Mountain, and now he's moved it to Canoga, where the Eastern qualifier was, I guess, 2 years ago.
Yep.
We raced at Canoga. There are some new trails there. Mr. Justin told me there are some new trails there. and he's going to have an enduro style race there, followed up with a side by side race, I believe, at the end,
Sweet.
and that'll be on Saturday.
That's awesome. And then you did mention Float Fest is happening towards the end of the summer, right?
Yeah, Float Life Fest is September 12th through the 15th in Old Fort, North Carolina.
Yep. Wow.
Yes, sir.
North Carolina just posting a bunch of races, right?
They are. I just now realized I didn't realize that until just now, but yes, all three of them are in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Which I couldn't find an image, but here is their Instagram handle if you want to go check out Float Fest and kind of stay Float Life Fest, 7. Join us for racing, music, and good times, September 12th through the 15th, 2024. There you go. You can go check them out on Instagram to stay up to. And then one of the last ones, again, that I know of is Windman, which is
one of the best. It's one of the best. It's one of the best races. I love that race.
It is. They don't have their some kind of flyer made or something, but they do have it on their Instagram handle. If you go to Midwest Onewheel, you can get the information. Stay tuned when they open up registration and things of that nature. It is, as Nick's saying, it is one of the more fun ones because it is the time of year and the location of the time of year.
Were those the dates, the September?
Yeah.
They bumped it way up.
They moved it a little earlier this year. Yep, a little bit earlier. So the weather will be different. Could possibly be warmer, but it's the northern part of the United States.
You don't know.
It could be different, but it is. If you like Dirt Surfers Eureka Springs style, this is the northern version of that style where it's just well done. It's great.
The trails are awesome. There's features everywhere. That's one of my favorite parts about Windman is all the features. There's something for everybody there, and they love one wheels. So
yeah. And it's, again, I can't speak for all of them, but Dirt Surfers in Eureka Springs and Windman are very family friendly, meaning I have no problems letting my 5 and 6 year old race in the groms and know that they're going to come back to me safely. So it is easier to go to those events and go, okay, they can race and they're going to pop out at the trailhead and I can wait for them. So if you're wondering which ones, but do your own recon on all of these. These are great events to go to meet with the community and stuff. But today, now we're going to get hyper-focused on Dirt Surfers. The first one being in Texas, and then the next one being in Arkansas. And we're going to talk about ORL race rules, and things of that nature. So, Nick, you have two going this year. You have the Texas one, which is just outside Austin, or is it actually in Austin, Texas?
It's outside Austin. It's a little north. It's north and it's west of Austin. I think it's about 45 minutes away from Austin. I believe 45 minutes to an hour, depending on which part of Austin you're in.
Okay. And this is, again, clearly stating it because I think there's been some confusion. You've not moved Dirt Surfers where the Jesus statue is in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. You've not moved that. That's still happening. This is you're building the brand, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The guys down there kind of reached out and asked me if I wanted to be involved and help them with the race portion of their event. And they had a lot of things already set up. So it was basically insert Dirt Surfers into their event, and I'll be planning out the courses. I'm working on that still. I have probably 3 or 4 of the segments figured out, working on the long distance race on Sunday, excursion race on Sunday, still working on that. But yeah, we're going to make it happen. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of trails on the property. So I'm taking my time really trying to pick out the very best segments for everybody. There's going to be some that are super fast and flowy. And then there's going to be some that are rocky, chunky slabs of rocks you're riding over. We're going to try to mix it up, but we're going to try to keep it where everybody can do it. We are going to have a pro stage as well, like we did last year at Dirt Surfers. So we'll have a more advanced stage for the pros. Just throw something at them. Yeah.
And so I want to again come back to what you like. Are you gonna have a Grom race? Like, is this gonna be one of those races where, because when you mention rock slabs and chunk, some people go, whoa, that's not for me. So
That's definitely not.
yeah, are you gonna have a beginner style where somebody can come in and go, hey, I just want to get out there and ride a trail and time myself?
Yes.
Will you have versions of that?
Yes. At both Dirt Surfers this year, we created a beginner category, and we're calling it a mini enduro. And I haven't decided if they'll do 3 or 4 stages. For sure 3, possibly at Dirt Surfers in Eureka 4. We'll pick the easier stages, what I would call the easier stages for them, and they just won't have quite as many stages. And so somebody that's maybe brand new to the sport won't be intimidated by the length of the race as well.
Hold on. Question on that. I've hiked those trails. They're hard to hike.
Wait, you're talking about in Eureka
In
Springs?
Eureka Springs.
Oh my goodness, get out of here!
Hey, it might be harder to hike a trail than one wheel it.
For
Like
sure.
what?
Yeah.
Like I was when we were there. That's what I was doing, was hiking through the trails, and I kept saying, I had Rev and Kurt with me, and I kept saying, how the heck do they one wheel through this place? And I was probably on the easy trail.
Yeah, she was on Genesis, Nick. She was on the Genesis trail, which is the easier.
Well, yeah, but
Nick's
if
trying to be
you're on
kind.
a one wheel, if you're on a one wheel and you think that, here's the thing about one wheel racing, and at Dirt Surfers, at any of these races, you don't have to do the features. You don't have to go. If there's something you don't feel comfortable with, just get off your board, carry it, put it down. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all part of learning and getting better at trail riding.
And it reflects in your time, because to dismount, it's not an advantage to pick up your board and run it across something.
Oh, no way.
No.
It's not an advantage. So it's like you're
You'll know that. All right.
I don't understand those that roll into the trail. I must ride everything. It's like, no, don't have a broken ankle. Just get off your board, go walk past it, and set your board back down. And so I think that's true on any of these races. That, hey, just don't do it. Like, ride at your skill level. I think that's what is beautiful about any of these races, is that you are a dirt surfer style as well. It's not head to head. You are in a trail system by yourself, so you don't have to feel this pressure of like, oh no, somebody's chasing me or something. And if somebody does come up on behind you, just get out of the way. It's that simple. Like,
that beginner class.
Unless you're Lily, I can yell enduro all day to that girl, and she won't move her booty out of the way.
I'll move for anyone but you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, not even hashtag sorry, but not sorry. Okay, so we're gonna have plenty of categories. Now let's get to some of the hotter topics, because especially with the title. Somebody's signing up for a lot of these events that are ORL certified, and Dirt Surfers is one of those. I have a float wheel.
What?
No, I don't have one, but if I do, I show up.
What?
Can I race it, or I'm going to be my own category? Is this going to be a year we're going to just pin the float wheel and one wheels together and prove who's the best of the best? How are you seeing it play out this year?
I consider a float wheel a Vesc, first of all. So I'm just going to say Vesc for float wheel and Vesc. I'm just going to refer to them that way. The float wheel uses the Vesc software, and the controllers and everything that are in there are all Vesc based products. So I'll just refer to them as Vesc, and that'll be easier throughout this, if that's cool.
Yeah.
But did I miss? Wait, what did you ask me? Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
Are they all
there.
racing against each
Yeah,
other?
so like
Yes. So here's what's going on. I mean, there are several types of boards. We have all kinds of people building boards on their own, and we have people that just get a one wheel and love their one wheel and don't want to mess with their boards. But we have over 200 people coming to the event, and we are grouping everybody together. and of course, by category, not everybody together, but all boards. All boards are going to race each other. When you sign up for Dirt Surfers, you're going to notice that I'm going to ask you what kind of board you're riding. That's something that we can fix when you get there. If you get a different board before you get to the race, we can't change that. But overall, we're trying to accommodate everybody. We're trying to accommodate all boards, but the ORL exists within the race. So if you're on a one wheel product and you're racing in the ORL, we're going to take those times and we're going to have a separate, those times will be handled differently than everybody else's times just for the ORL awards and for Race for the Rail points and things like that. But ultimately, anybody can win Dirt Surfers on any board. That's what it's coming down to this year. Whoever's the fastest. And I did create a category for the remotes. That's the only thing that I couldn't find myself lumping them also in with the one wheel product just because one wheels don't have remotes. It's right. Just a thing that, a lot of people don't want remotes. There's a group of guys that swear by the remotes and do not want to race without the remotes. I totally get it. They build their boards. They have all these features. They want to use them all. Totally get it. We're going to offer them their own category if they're using a remote on Saturday, only on Saturday. So that's something new is the remote class. But yes, in the pro category and all the categories, everybody's going to race each other. And that's how it's going down. It's just hard to accommodate everybody. And if you start just chopping up every kind of class, you're going to end up with, 4 or 5 people. You're going to have 20 trophies at the end. We're going to have to probably have another day. Probably everybody stay till Monday to do the trophy ceremony because it'll be ridiculous. It'll be pretty crazy, I think. So this is what I came up with this year. I'm not saying it's going to stay the same. We're going to see, this is, I would say that we're still learning. This is all new still, right? We're still in the infancy of this sport. So it's going to keep changing. It's going to keep morphing. Boards are changing. Everything's changing at all times in this, as everybody knows. But we're going to try to accommodate everybody and see how this works this year. And then if there's some things that we need to change, we're going to pivot and make those changes. Maybe it works out. We'll see.
Yeah. And
everybody races on the same course. So that's what also makes Dirt Surfers and some of the other races that are similar where everybody's racing on the same course. Yeah. Everybody can compare their times. It doesn't matter if you're a Grom, you're going to race the same course as Bodie. You're going to, unless, the stage on the 8th stage that we have that was for the pros, they wouldn't have raced that, of course, but they can compare their times across the board for stages 1 through 7. And everybody can. And that's what's fun about it. The times will tell the story at the end of this year. And that's what, we'll take all that information. And
let me jump in there, Nick, because you said a whole lot there. And people are asking, no, you're great. It's just people are going to have heaps of questions in it. Great, you're throwing everybody in one little blender, and you'll pull out the pros times to go to ORL. And ORL, you have to be riding a Future Motion board. Can they have footholds on their one wheel? Okay. So you can have a few tweaks to your board, but the software has to be Future Motion. It cannot be Vesc. It cannot be a Floatwheel or any of those things to be in there. But now all the other categories, it's everybody going at it to find out who is the best of the best. Because we were saying it off air that it doesn't matter you can have a board that is the fastest board, but if you can't ride it, it ain't going to do any good. It's like taking Revolution, who is 4 years old or something, just learning to ride a one wheel, and I put him on the most powerful board ever. he ain't going to get the most out of that board. So you can take people with lesser skill level, and they're not going to get the most out of the board. It really is going to come down to the rider.
Yes, especially Saturday. Saturday's a downhill race. Yes, some of the boards are faster. I don't think you're going to there's not a whole lot of people going 20 plus miles an hour for very long on these trails. There's a lot of turns. There are straightaways where you can get that top speed, but when you're dealing with those higher speeds, you're also dealing with having to slow down, right? So, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to those top speeds, especially on trails. If you don't know the trail like the back of your hand and you're trying to hit 30, that may not work in your favor. You may end up, that board may end up rolling down to the road. And you may be walking the rest of that segment.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, you put it so well, and it's like what I keep trying to say in the podcast over the weeks is like, listen, great Vesc can do what it can, GTSs can do what they can do, and all of those things. But put a rider on there, they still have got to be able to ride the terrain. Great, you hit 40 miles. I don't know what the top speed of the Vesks are at the moment, but you're right. Great, you can do 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There's no way you're top. You're not even 40 miles an hour in a truck.
I'll give you a real life scenario. Last year at Seek and Shred, Thor won Seek and Shred on an XR, a stock XR. Won the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's on GTs and all kinds of different boards, and wins it on an XR. He is top notch. He is up there with all the best of the best.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that doesn't even have to ride every day. He can just go down there and lay it down. And that's what he did at Seek and Shred. He came in there. He hadn't even ridden that much. And he said, I'm going to see what I can do on this board. This is my favorite board. I feel the most comfortable on this board. And he beat everybody. So people could say what they want to. We'll see how it all turns out at Dirt Surfers.
Yeah, and that's I know there are also going to be people that can argue with this, going, no, if a board has more power, the ability to climb. Yeah, all those things are correct, but like we're using Dirt Surfers right, primarily downhill, except for the long race on Sunday. But that's not the race for any ORL points. That's at the end of the day, the excursion race on Sunday is more about endurance than it is about your ability. Because there were so many of those riders that, they go and they can fly really fast, but then they get tired with 2 miles left. Their board is still ready to go, but they partied too much the night before or something, and they can't make it. But I think those that would say, well, the board, there is some truth to the way the board's set up, some. But if I was to put a pie chart in where's the most improvement going to be done in excelling in the sport of one wheel, it's going to be the rider. The rider has the most to change in the race. I like the progression of the hardware side of things in the one wheels. In the software, that I can go climb better and things but those are small tweaks. The biggest tweak for me is I want to get faster, Nick. That's what I've been telling everybody. I want to get faster. I need to get faster. And so I was like, well, how am I going to do? I made my own little micro goal of I'm going to ride my one wheel every day. The more time I spend on the one wheel, the better I'm going to be on the one wheel, the more I will be more comfortable go faster. And it's those small tweaks I do for me and my body that's going to get me to improve more than me tweaking small things on my preferences, I should say. Because again, you and I were talking. We like the 5-inch hubs, right? We like that extra cushion, but that's a preference, right? It's a preference. It gives us maybe some more confidence in the board and comfortability, but still it comes down to, can we ride? Can you go over rock slabs, or can you drop off things? And that's where you want to find out, it'll be a fun season of Vesc versus One Wheel. I think that's going to be a big narrative. I also think a big narrative, Nick, is going to be teams. Are you going to do anything different with teams this year, as even one of our local board shops here in the Twin Cities, Lloyd's board shop, he is now promoting a team. I don't know if it's going to be go to head against a factory team, but will you do something different?
Scott, you mentioned that to me, and after we talked, I thought about this a little bit before, and then you brought it up again, and it kind of sparked, I started thinking about it, and I talked to my buddy that runs the mountain bike races that helps me with my timing, and he
Yeah.
does a team, an enduro, the mountain bike enduro in that world. They do team races with 3 to 4 people, and you just declare your team before the race,
Yep.
and you have a scorecard that you give to your team captain, and then after the race, all the times for your team are added up. And it's something that I'm seriously thinking about, just for fun.
Yeah.
Anybody could form a team at the
Right.
race. You may not be on a team, but
Holly?
if 3 or 4
All right.
people want to
All
get
right.
together,
I'll be on your team, Nick.
Holly,
All
you
right.
want
know.
to be on my team?
All right. I'll be on a
Nick,
team.
Holly, and Lily want to be on your team.
okay. Well, I'm not racing.
No,
Yeah,
whatever
you're
team
gonna be on my
You're
team.
just the host of us.
Wait,
we'll be on
Okay.
Wait, you guys just left Scott Mendenhall and
Okay.
friends just like that? Dang, Nick. Just like that. They're off my
Well,
What
team.
are-
All right.
the-
Since you're begging,
I'm curious. I'm curious what the people are saying in the chat. Is there anybody in the chat commenting on
know.
this one? I can't
Not
see any
yet.
of that.
Not yet.
They will.
Okay.
But they will.
They have
Okay.
talked about it over the weeks. I think they're trying to wait to see, like, if the bigger brands. I think if Float Life comes out and goes, "This is our team," or Onewheel Parts goes, "We have a racing team." I think those are the ones that are going to really push this. Now, I do think at signups, you always ask. I think it is on the forum. Who are you racing for? Or
yeah,
there's
that's
something,
part of
right?
Yeah.
registration.
Yeah, like a sponsor.
Yeah, like your sponsors. Yeah, you can have
Right.
multiple sponsors. Mhm.
And you always ask when someone's on the podium.
So-
Who you racing with?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's already a natural thing happening. It's just taking the best, and you can go, you can have up to 7 people ride for a sponsor, and then you take the top 3 times or something. It's got to be easy for you, right? You can't be work for the race director to now
Yeah.
it adds work to you, but to be able to just pull times and go, hey, run this for Scott Mendenhall and Friends team, the factory team, and let's just run it. I just think it'll be a fun story for people it's an easy story to follow for spectators. That's what I think. I
think it would be fun. I'm trying to kind of gauge interest in it, right now. And
Yeah.
I've reached out to a couple of people and kind of asked them what they thought about it, just to see if they had any interest. And there are several groups of people that have their teams, like you were saying. Onewheel Parts, I believe he does already have a team put together. A lot of the different companies that sponsor people have multiple riders. That would be easy for them to have a team. And I would think they kind of already consider themselves as a team as well. And the enduro, I think the spirit of the enduro, part of the enduro is working, I think everybody's there together, and I think it would go well with the race.
Yes.
The way the race is. I mean, and it comes down to your individual time still. You're still racing for yourself. You're gonna
Correct.
your number one is gonna be yourself. I have
Yep.
a feeling most people are gonna be keeping that as number one, but then the team thing would just be a fun side thing to do, I think.
You know what would be interesting with it, Nick, is, and what would make it become more of a thing, is if all the races were talked about at the beginning, if they would get a sponsor for a purse prize of $1,000 that the team splits or whatever, that, hey, will you sponsor? And now all of a sudden the teams are going, wait, it's advantageous to put together, not just, hey, we'll wear my jersey, but going after, like, no, I need to get some quality racers on this for the potential of getting $1,000, which could cover a couple of jerseys or whatever it is. It would just incentivize it, and then all of a sudden the team prize purse is a sponsored part. Like, I could see something like a Scott Mendenhall and Friends going, hey, we will sponsor at this race the prize purse for a team. And now all of a sudden it's like, if the Onewheel's factory team wins it, great. Then you'll have a group of people that will love it. Other people will hate it. But I think That's the beauty of it. If you need the villains in the sport, and you need fans to root and boo to create that narrative for the sport to really get going, I think.
Legend said it. He's always going to cheer for the factory team until he's racing against them.
Until he's
Or
racing.
with them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think also to that, Nick, in that conversation, it helps grow the sport in. Right now on paper, it seems, because we have the factory team. I know it's not a racing team, but it's just a demo team. But they seem to be working on getting faster. But I think the more the teams become a thing, it gives the sport where kids can dream to be, hey, I want to be on that team. I want to be on, let's say Dirt Surfers one day makes a team. I want to ride for Dirt Surfers on their team because they put out high caliber teammates, and there's a way to get maybe resources in it, or it's just a fun thing to again, it's those levels in the sports where Groms, and I'm watching it through my kids, how they look at the sport and how they look at the future. Is this a sport that I can dream to be in? And that's what I wanted to see, is a sport that they can dream to be in, and one day wouldn't it be sweet if there could be a livelihood in it? That would be so cool. So I would love the team idea. I really do. I think it would be tremendous. And maybe not this year, but maybe it is, hey, to put together a team is $10. It's $10 entry fee to have a team put in. So we would go, okay, here's our 5 team members. I don't know. But all right, you were asking the chat stuff. Ladies, what are the people in the chat saying today?
Some of the, talking about the team aspect, Austin's thought it'd be really fun to watch for the spectators, and then the followers as well. Just brings a different energy to it, so that would be fun. I think some of it might need to settle in a little bit for them to really share some of their opinions. There were some opinions on the boards.
Oh,
earlier.
yeah, okay, let's hear those opinions.
Well, several said that they shouldn't be allowed because it's one wheel.
Vesc shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, shouldn't be able to, because it's.
Wait, where at?
In the race.
In which part?
In the racing league, just all through the races.
They're saying, dirt surfers, I'm assuming, the way she's saying it, they shouldn't be allowed to race in a one-wheel race.
Because it's one wheel. it's a one
Well,
wheel.
Onewheel is a sponsor. Onewheel is a sponsor of the race. So, I mean, it's not Onewheel's race. It's Nick's race.
Yes, but I
need a bell.
Okay.
After you kind of explained it and kind of said, "Hey, yeah," then we take the pros. On a Vest doesn't have an option to get the free ticket to the
But that's your choice.
Race for the rails.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you explained it. So I think
to
that
your point, though,
some
Nick,
of the thoughts.
you are the creator of Dirt Surfer, so you should be able to, with wisdom and collaborating with other people, set the rules.
Correct.
And I think
I make the rules for Dirt Surfers. We make all the rules. Onewheel is a sponsor of the race.
Right.
And they're one of the main sponsors of the race. The Float Life also helps me every year with the race. They give tons of swag. They always help big time. They help with prize stuff too. Tons of prize stuff. But all of the sponsors is what makes this a race.
Right.
We're going to include everybody at Dirt Surfers because we're all one-wheelers. We're all riding one-wheels. They're different brands, yes. There are different tires. There's different brands in every sport. So I mean, this isn't something that we're just still in the infancy of this. Onewheel, as far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite brand. That's my personal preference. That's what I ride. I actually do have a Vesc, but I'm not good at some of the control. I'm not good with technology, guys. I'm just going to be honest. It's got a little too much technology in there for me. I like to push the button. I like to get on the board, and I like to go. Okay,
Right.
And that's just me. That's just me, though. Everybody's different. You got Nico over here, the whole other side of the spectrum. He's building his board. He's the one making this thing, and and I mean, I get it. I understand. They have all these features on their board they want to
Right.
utilize, and that's where we're at. I mean, there's just too many people with too many different kinds of boards to try to start excluding anybody. That's not how you build a sport.
Right.
That's not how you build, any kind of sport. There's gotta be people. Well, let's see the best way to say this. It's it's just going to make it better. I think it's making it better. Just having the different
Yeah.
products. Everybody has preferences. We're all people. We all like what we like, and we're going to race what we like.
Right.
That's what it's coming down to. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
put some kind of barrier up and say you can't come to my race because of XYZ. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, and I don't. Where do we see that thinking that it's just this a brand? That where do we see that in any other sport? NASCAR, you have the same race. There are standards that you have to hold to, right? Just like that's what we've been talking about, standards.
Yes.
But then you have different makes of cars. You have the Ford. You have again another Nissan or whatever those brands are, and they're trying to prove that they're the best inside this race with the same standards. You look at the Tour of France, which is a bicycle race, a bunch of different brands coming in there, Canon, Trek, and it's trying to prove, why we have the best and far superior. That's why it's important for those teams to get the best riders on their stuff so their brand looks at it. Creates competition, which actually does what we all want, is to create ingenuity in our sport and creating boards that are more responsive to us in those things. So I think if we went down to it's just this very narrow-minded, we're going to miss out on making this thing better and bigger.
I agree.
Well done, guys.
I think we were saying this on the ride the other day. I think for a healthy question for everyone that's kind of pushing, no, only one wheel. It should be the Wild Wild West. No standards. Ask yourself, have you raced any race besides in or on the recess playground? Have you gone and done a race somewhere where you've paid money? Because when you do that, in whatever sport it is, there are standards. You're the race official. I trust you as a brand of putting on this race. Therefore, I'm going to now abide by your standards. And it's like people are looking and go, no, we want a Wild Wild West in all these races. And it's like, well, then it's gonna be hard to get a champion or a I don't know if now I'm saying it clear. I agree with you, and I think we need the competition. I think we need the competition of it, and it'll only.
I mean, it's where we're at right now, right? I mean, the cat's out of the bag. There's no putting it back in,
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's just going to grow it's just going to get bigger and better. I think that Onewheel will always be the board that anybody starting off, anybody getting into this is the perfect board to. I mean, I'm still using the Onewheels, but just if you're just now getting into the sport, it's way easier to get a Onewheel and learn on that, and then you can venture off if you want.
Yeah,
but the GTS is out now, and I feel like that's a great board to compete against any of the boards that are out there that people are making in their garage. I believe that the boards are. This is going to be a really good year for racing with the GTS out. It's just opening up everything.
I agree, and I think this is me. I think there's going to be things coming before the race season begins, which is right around the corner. I think Onewheel's got something cooking. That you got the hardware now of the GTS. I think that they're gonna. I think they brought something that leveled everything up again, and I think you're going to watch it go bloop one more time before the race season. That's my gut. I have no intel on it. That is just I just think that because that GTS is phenomenal in what is holding that thing back right now. is just somebody to update the app and unlock more features. It could happen. And if it does, Nick and I won't be jacking around with them at all because we're the guys that like it right out of the box. I just text my friends that ride better than me going, hey, what are your custom settings? Can I try yours? And then that's what's so easy. So
I haven't even rode a GT. I don't even know settings. I did ride the XR down in Arkansas.
I know. What
I like the XR. I like the XR.
We do have video of her riding.
We need to see that.
I should post it. She's gonna ride. She's gonna race the beginner race, Nick, at Dirt
really
Surfers.
Cool. I looked really cool.
At Dirt Surfers, she's riding the beginner's race.
Sure.
Oh,
there it is.
cool.
If I can get out of the registration booth.
No,
Sure.
it'll happen. We'll make it happen.
We can do that. I'll jump in for you.
Yeah, there will be plenty of hands. Okay, Nick, we've talked a lot about a lot. Are there other things that you're hearing that you're like, oh, I want to say this before we let you go? I mean, we could stay on this all day. I think people want to continue to poke the bear with the Vesc.
I was just going to say earlier, as even race season begins, like right now it's still, like there's a flip of a switch here in a few weeks where everybody's like, did you see this? This person raced this and da-da-da-da-da. You know, like there will be a flip and a lot of people will have lots to say.
For sure, as we document all of this stuff.
Is there more comments? Is there more comments that I should?
There will be. They're all going to
be.
There'll be all versions of what has already been said in a sense of like. I guess we'll ask this on some of those things. So there's not going to be like I think Windman did it where they had no hook and hooks. Mm-hmm. Are you just putting all that in? There's just hey, you want hooks on, you go hooks.
Yeah. Hooks, no hooks. I mean, that came down. That was a hard decision. There's some purists, is what I'll call them, and I'm one of those guys. I don't use hooks, so I know where these guys are coming from. But at the same time, it's a very small number, and so that comes back to, how do I keep making classes? All these classes. And I'm going to use another real life example of from a race last year, somebody that didn't have hooks. Bodie won, or he didn't win Let It Ride, but he had the fastest qualifying time at Let It Ride with no hooks.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think, I'm not saying it's not an advantage. I believe there's advantage there, but I also believe somebody like Bodie just showed you he can beat you with or without hooks. I mean, he didn't care if you had hooks or not, and he beat everybody. And right. I think he beat everybody by a pretty good. I don't remember the exact time, but
it was multiple 10 seconds, I believe. It was like
right. And so that I see things like that, and I'm like, people can overcome different things. I mean.
Yeah.
And I think that as the racing progresses, I think one of the things that I'm also seeing is the boards are going so much faster. I mean, The guys are going faster. They're going faster over terrain, and it is hard to stay on your board. I mean, if I was younger, I would probably try it, but I'm not going to try it. I'm not ever going to try it just because I'm sticking with the way I've been riding, and I still love to ride without hooks.
Right.
On my Onewheel. So.
And I think some of those conversations, to be honest with you, is like you see in all kinds of generational stuff where someone says, this is the way the sport was, this is the way it should always be done, as you watch sports increasing in popularity. Think about the shoulder pads in football. They're so much smaller now. Well, no, I just think they should be bigger. There'd be less injuries. It's like, wait, hold on. We have the ability to do this. Why don't we do it? And I think what happens is some people start out with no hooks and they don't want to make the jump to hooks. And so they go, oh, no, it's a purist thing. It's a no hook thing. I don't like hooks. I tried it for a season. I didn't like it. I did not like that I couldn't run out stuff as well. And that was my biggest thing was like, no, I don't like this thing strapped to me in any form of anything. And I have found that it's made me a better rider. Like, I felt like when I had the hooks, I was getting lazy because, I can just ride over that. Now no hooks is allowing me to be better, but that's who I am. I like to get better as me and not using technology always to get there. So, but that said, I have a GTS.
And as this grows, though, we can have a non-foot hook category as it gets bigger. It's just not there yet.
Right.
That's the point I was trying to make. I mean, I see that it could be, but I think it's just not there yet. There's just not enough people in the sport. I think as it gets bigger and bigger, we can change classes up. We can have stuff like that. I think, just because the rules are like this year doesn't mean we can't change rules. That goes back to.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, even the NFL changes rules every year. Like now that the Super Bowl is going to happen, they're going to hold a meeting in 2 weeks and they're going to change new rules because they're realizing.
Extra point. Remember the extra point used to be from like right next.
Fell.
Yeah, it's tough. Those things,
They can handle abuse. They're a tank.
But that's a good example. Sports are evolving as well. And NASCAR and those car racing and all that stuff evolves as those cars evolve. Now you got electric car racing. How does that work? They have to have all kinds of different rules for that.
Right.
So
somebody is asking this, Nick, what's keeping me, and maybe the sport just isn't, there's not money on the line, so it's not a big deal, but what's keeping me from showing up and being pro and going, this is a Onewheel Future Motion board? Are you taking my word for it? Do I have to show you the app? Do I have to check in my board and then that's that? How are you policing that?
Okay, that's something that we're actually working on right now still. I believe that we're going to do, I'm asking you when you sign up what kind of board you're on. And then when you show up to the race for registration, we're going to verify that you are going to race in the ORL or not, and then if you are, we are going to possibly, I think the only thing that we can do is hook up to the app. We're going to, we can inspect it visually as well. We can tell if there's a one-wheel motor inside or, a controller. That's pretty easy to really spot at this very time. It's pretty easy to figure out. And there's not a whole lot of people messing with the batteries on the GT or the GTS. So, I mean, it's not an advantage. I don't think it's an advantage if you try to mess with your battery, but that's another thing that we're gonna police as well. But the app, checking on the app, and then we may have we may mark your board in some way, possibly. That's something that we're also talking about right now. When you check in, and then after the race is over, you're going to have to produce your board, and we're going to look at it and make sure that it's the same board you started with. And not to say you couldn't switch out boards. Now, if you have a board problem, this is something that I've already kind of gone over as well. If you have multiple boards, we're going to have to check the other board as well. If you have a problem with your board, we're going to have some type of board referee person that we designate. You're going to have to locate them, and then we'll go through that process again. Right. We'll figure out a way to make sure that everybody's racing on their one wheel versus something else. I really don't think. I mean, I like to think of everybody, the good side of everybody.
Yeah, they're
right?
gonna all be truthful and honest.
I mean, I really think we all know who's who in this world. The racers know who's racing what. I kind of know myself, which guys are on which side of the fence. So, if Nico shows up and wants to race in the ORL, I think I might want to check his board a little bit more, maybe, maybe not. No, I'm just kidding with Nico, but for real, we're going to try to check them and everything. And I think we can figure something out.
You could always have, knowing that at your events, Scott Mendenhall and friends are highly involved at each of the stages. If those, before you send off the pro group, going, hey, I need to see your app to just reconfirm that it's running the future motion. And I know that isn't a foolproof, but you could teach them as well. Then it could be a check at every time going, nope, their board was the same.
I think if we got some kind of marking, some kind of sticker in motocross, and I think you even mentioned in your world
Yep.
of the
Triathlons.
triathlons, that you had to check your bike in
Yep.
before the race. Same thing with motorcycles. I have my buddy Charlie Bogard, that does all my signage. He actually makes the stickers for the AMA, the
Oh, nice.
motocross races. So before the race, and they're stickers that you can't take off. If you try to take them off, they tear up, right? So I'm thinking that we could come up with something like that for the Onewheel world, where we put it on the board, and it's going to be, it's going to have some kind of number on it or some kind of marking on it itself. The sticker itself will be numbered, and in that way we'll know, who inspected your board, when it was inspected, and then at the end of the race, we'll check and make sure that sticker is still in the same location on the board. And I think that'd be sufficient.
I think so.
I think
if people, again, I think those, if they're going to be really, really shady on it, you're going to catch them other than that. Because, every sport, you would think, no sports performance or enhancements or anything, but the people are going to do it, and those people tend to get caught. Even look at Lance Armstrong. He thought he got away with it for a quite a bit of time, and then he didn't. And so, but I again, like you said, for the most part, who sits on what side. I think it's those that we don't know of this year, that you don't know in the community, because there are people, like, as the sport grows, they're getting involved, and they're not going to come on the scene until they're ready. There's Groms, there's kids out there that I think in the Groms category, it's more of the dad that's tweaking the boards. The kid has no idea what's going on. Not that a Grom race matters much, but it's amazing what people will do to get an advantage on things. It's crazy. So, well, Nick, we took a lot of your time. I hope we covered a lot. I know there's so many more questions and stuff that we could be asking and the community wants to know. To clarify, there are 2 opportunities to race dirt surfers this year. First one is in Austin, Texas, with the Lemonade Float Co. Festival, and then there is Dirt Surfers Eureka Springs in May. But to sign up for those 2 events is in 2 different locations currently. Is that correct, Nick?
Oh, it is. It is in 2 different locations currently. You can go to the Lemonade the Lemonade stuff. You can go to their website, and it'll take you to Bike Reg. And you could also go and search on Bike Reg for you can search Lemonade Float Fest times Dirt Surfers, and it'll show up as well.
The website is lemonadefloat.com, and right away, their first picture is Lemonade Float Fest 2 with Dirt Surfers. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I wonder if on dirtsurfers.com, I was saying this the other day, you just put a link for Lemonade Float, so if they go to you searching...
I think we will do that. I think you had a good point. You talked me into that, I believe. So I think we're going to get Rachel to help. Rachel's in charge of the website, so we're going to we'll get her to do that.
Well, you guys had already corrected the date on there from just the ST a couple weeks ago, so it looks good on just the picture and stuff. I'm working on a picture for you guys to put on your website as well from the big drop zone. That leads me to another question for you. Are you going to do another big drop zone kind of deal there, or is that a one and done?
We will in Eureka.
Yeah, Eureka Springs.
I think the people love it. I think the guys involved in it love it. I can't see us stopping now. I mean, I'm getting a trophy made for it, so we're doing it.
Yeah.
And just to speak a little bit more about the race at Reveille Peak, just for 1 second.
Reveille Peak, when you say that, is Texas.
That is Texas. That is the Austin Dirt Surfers. Okay. I think that the excursion race it'll be one of the best big races, one of the best, where we're going to start it off by category, but mass start. Sorry, I went blank there. But I think it's going to be one of the best mass start races because of the terrain there, the way the trails work there. There's a lot of double track and single track. And I believe that we'll be getting some really good drone footage because the trees and everything are way smaller there. At Eureka Springs, it's just
Yeah.
so hard to capture anything in
Yeah.
that. I mean, you're in a small jungle there, so this is going to be a really cool race for people to watch. I don't know if it'll be kind of live or anything, but I know that we're going to work on having some good drone footage of that event, because it is going to be an epic. It's going to be an epic race that. And there's going to be so many possibilities for passing. At dirt
Yeah.
servers in Eureka, there's not as many. You got to be very calculated, and just kind of hope somebody messes up. And there's a lot of stuff going on. But here, I think there's going to be a lot more side by side. These guys, it's going to be gladiator styles. What
That's
I
awesome.
see, it's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. They're going to love it.
What we need to do is get a handful of 360 cameras and ask them just to wear a chesty so we can have somewhat of a filming of that. That'd be pretty sweet.
That's a great idea.
We can bring ours and hook up a couple of people we know with them, and then we can edit it down to have that cool race style. Hey, I have an idea. Just came to me. What if, you are offering the pro feature last year? You did it in Eureka Springs, Dirt Surfers. You did it on Holy Roller, I believe that was the name of the trail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if this year you move it to Genesis? Hear me out. And you build the features on Genesis to be pro. Like, either we move them onto the trail system after you use it as a stage, but then we build wooden features that make it complicated, drops and stuff. But you have it start at 2:00 and people can come watch it. Because if you make it a small enough segment, but complicated enough, it would allow the spectators to come line over by the Bethlehem Inn. You can see there, you could just pick some prime spots where people could come and watch the race, but you make it difficult with wooden features. Because I think,
hey, I'm open to something like that. I mean, I'm not going to say no. I don't think that's not a bad idea.
I think that could be, again, you creative and unique to dirt surfers. You're going to create a unique style for them, but then it is something spectators can get to. Because I think, again, a lot of these races, spectators don't get to watch very much. So it is very much, at the podium we find out who wins, versus, oh no, I want to go watch the pros. Because there's someone being said to watch the pros do what they do in any sport. It's mesmerizing. And to be able to watch the pros send it on those features and those segments, I just think, again, it would be capturing a version of what you did at the drop zone, where you have spectators lining up on the parking lot side of things. I bet you can even clear some of over by the RVs so people could stand up there and look down. I'd be willing to put in the assistance to do that and bring down a team for that. But I just was thinking about that.
I was thinking about maybe including the drop zone. Keep it going across the road, and who knows?
Who knows? That's the beauty, is we get to see your creativity at work at both these events. You do a great job, Nick. And I'm excited to be down there for both Dirt Surfers events and do what we can do to film and be creative. We will bring a big group down to Eureka Springs to help do all the timing and things and whatever else you need. So thank you, Nick, for being such a good friend.
We appreciate you guys doing that more than you know. It has lifted up a big weight off of my shoulders. It lets me focus on what I need to focus on. All of the race is important. Don't get me wrong, but you guys coming and inserting your crew has made it to where it's so much more enjoyable for me. Even the day was so much less stressful. I felt like everybody had everything covered, and I could, help if somebody got hurt or whatever we had to do that last time. But hopefully we don't have any injuries this year. That would be awesome.
Yes.
So,
and it
Jesus
was a good
is
year.
watching over us.
That's right, literally in the statue form at Eureka Springs. You did say that the Dirt Surfers in Texas has crosses on it, right? So you're keeping a theme, right?
At the very top of Revley Peak, there is a cross up there, a wooden cross.
So you have
there's
a
little
theme.
Yep. That's just happening.
Right. It's just a theme. So, Nick, it's going to be good to see you in a little over a month. And it's going to be fun to kick off the race season here soon to see how it all plays out and see what happens with Onewheel and Vesc. It's going to be a fun race season for sure. So thank you so much for being with us, Nick. Any other closing thoughts?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. We can do it. We can do it again if we need to cover something. If we need to cover some more, or if we need to address any more comments or anything.
I think what we do, Nick, is as the race season goes, I think it'd be just a good segment once in a while after a race to have you come in as the race official and go, no, that was by the rules, that wasn't, because you're gonna know the ORL rules and stuff, and just be fun to have you kind of being able to help the referees who are reffing from their iPhones for you to go, no, I saw that. I talked to the race people there. No, that was legit. That wasn't a problem. It'd just be fun to get your expert opinion on some of those things. So I think we'll have you back after the big races.
Awesome. I'll do it. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Well, we'll let you get back to work, Nick. Thank you so much for your time today. You are a good human being. Tell Rachel we said hello. All right. See you, man.
Will do. Later.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you. That was so much fun. We did go longer today just because we had a lot to cover, and we know that you guys have questions. Lily has since left. Holly is now at the back switcher table, so she's switching things. So she's here, but back there, and it's just me, lonely here. I have to stay seated because we have no one on the switcher, but that's the way we roll around here on this YouTube channel. Hopefully you're liking the content. If you do, would you give a thumbs up to this? Would you also drop a comment down below and subscribe to the channel? We're dropping Onewheel content all the time. Some of it is on products. Some of it is on destination locations for you as a rider. I cannot stress enough about Mendenhall. You need to go there. That is so much fun. We will drop tomorrow the last stage from Dirt Surfers Eureka Springs, where you get to watch the conclusions of the race between Lily and I. We were just talking this morning. We had a meeting talking about how we're going to do this races season, so we're capturing those things. And the reason we capture them the way we do is so you get to look back and go, what does the race look like to do Dirt Surfers in Eureka Springs, Arkansas? You can watch it, be slightly entertained, and go, oh, that terrain's not so bad. If these two yahoos can do this while holding a video camera and talking the whole time, so can you. And so we're excited about what we're going to do this season for the races to document what's happening there and capture moments in history for all of those. And so tomorrow, stay tuned for Stage 7 of Dirt Surfers 2023 style. And we'll be back next week with the Silvas to catch up with them about the factory team and all those great things. Be excited about hearing from them about all the new things they've been helping crank out at Onewheel since they have been part of the factory team. And the videos they've created, it's been really cool to watch from afar. Some of our great friends do some really cool stuff out there. So everyone, have a fabulous Onewheel Wednesday. We'll see you next week podcast style on Wednesday. Adios, everybody.